If you could sit down with a trader who has survived the brutal reality of the markets for 26 years, what do you think they would tell you? Would they hand you a magic indicator or a secret chart pattern? No. They would look you in the eye and tell you that you are currently trapped in a game you don't even know you're replaying. Most people enter trading looking for financial freedom, but they end up in a mental prison. Think about your last trade. You see a huge green candle, and you feel the urge to buy. You see a red crash, and you panic. You think you are fighting the market, but you are actually fighting your own biology. In the next few minutes, I am going to dismantle the retail mindset you were born with and hand you the institutional mindset you need to survive. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This is 26 years of pain distilled into the truth. The middleman, to understand why you lose, you have to look at the structure of the game. Look at the banking system. To you, a bank is a safe vault for your hard-earned savings. But to the market, a bank is just a giant liquidity pool. When you deposit money, they don't let it sit there gathering dust. They use your capital to trade against the very trends you are trying to follow. The market is essentially an auction. For someone to buy 1 million shares, someone else must sell them. When the institutions, the smart money, want to enter a massive position, they can't just click buy or the price would skyrocket. They need liquidity. They need someone to sell to them at a cheap price. Who is that someone? It's you. They engineer a breakout just to trigger your greed, and then they sell into your buying pressure. They are the middleman, taking the spread and leaving you with the crumbs. To win, you must stop thinking like a customer and start thinking like the house. The math of survival. So, how does the house actually think? They don't predict the future, they calculate the risk. A professional understands that one single trade is meaningless. It is just one tiny data point in a series of 1,000 trades. The amateur asks, will this trade go up? The professional asks, what is the probability? This is the only holy grail that exists, the risk-to-reward ratio. If you trade with a ratio of 1 to 3, it means you risk $1 to make 3. With this math, you can be wrong 70% of the time and still make money. You don't need to be a prophet, you just need to be a good loser. But here is where most of you fail. You ignore the position size. You go all in because you feel lucky. The formula for your survival is non-negotiable. Your position size must equal your account risk divided by your stop-loss distance. If you ignore this, you aren't trading. You're gambling at a casino where the lights are turned off. The psychological switch. Let's talk about the invisible trap inside your head. The trap is dopamine. When you win a trade without a plan, your brain releases a chemical high. You feel like a genius. You increase your risk. Then, the market takes it back. You feel pain. You try to win it back instantly. That's revenge trading. This is the doom loop. The only way to break it is to become incredibly boring. Excitement is the enemy of profit. Real, professional trading looks like watching paint dry. It is routine. It is repetitive. It is disciplined. The institutional mindset treats trading like a business expense. A losing trade is not a personal failure. It is simply the cost of goods sold. When you truly accept the risk before you click the button, the fear disappears. The actionable system. So, how do we apply this tomorrow morning? Here is your system. Stop trying to catch every single move. First, identify the trend on a higher time frame. Is the river flowing north or south? Second, wait. Do not chase the price. Wait for the price to come back to a key level, a support or resistance zone. Third, look for a reaction, like a rejection wick or a clear pattern. And finally, execute with that pre-calculated risk we talked about. Set your stop-loss and walk away. Do not stare at the screen praying for candles to move. If it hits the stop, you paid for information. If it hits the target, you followed the process. That is it. Closing thought. The market is simply a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. You have the math now. You have the logic. Now, you must master the hardest opponent of all, yourself. Don't trade to get rich quick. Trade to get free forever. Master your mindset, and the money will follow.